In the neon-lit corners of YouTube Shorts, one creator has carved out a strange and nostalgic empire. 1980s Gamer. His series, Adventures in Gamerville, has been seen by millions, sold to us as a quirky comedy about old-school gaming culture. But what if I told you that behind the jokes, the winks, and the 8-bit graphics, he was hiding something? Something so big, it changes the way we see not only Gamerville, but the history of his entire channel itself. Today, we're going to uncover the truth about Matt and his perfect little life in Gamerville. This is the lie of 1980s Gamer. What really happened in Gamerville. At first glance, Adventures in Gamerville is simple. Matt, our main character, lives in a world where everyone seems happy. His mother, Karen, a tough and loving figure, his little brother, Timmy, the bane of Matt's existence, and Napoleon, his goofy best friend that comes over to play video games every day. Really just a harmless boy who loved to have fun. Or at least, that's what we were told. In the 1980s, Gamer's official narrative, his family is safe, a world full of gaming and fun antics. But if you watch closely, something seems off, and cracks begin to form. Napoleon. He stopped showing up to play. Matt didn't know where he was. It's been 4 weeks. What could have happened? We know that in Gamerville, time travel has been invented. This is introduced to us when Name takes Matt and Napoleon to the past, but what has truly been done with it? Name was close to Napoleon, and Napoleon, being a dubitable individual, it was almost destined that he would get his hands on the teleportation device. Napoleon went back in time, and he didn't just go back. He allied himself with forces that should have never crossed paths. The evidence that we collected suggests Napoleon formed a pact with a T-Rex, a prehistoric beast who roamed Earth millions of years before Gamerville. But this wasn't just about dinosaurs. There was another figure involved, someone far more dangerous. Thomas Jefferson. That's right, Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. Why Jefferson? Why would a founding father meddle in Gamerville? Here's the theory. Jefferson discovered future technology, a temporal rift that allowed him to travel forward in time. When he arrived in Gamerville, his childhood home away from home, he found out that one of his descendants was planning on running for president, but Napoleon was too. And Napoleon was going to win. Jefferson couldn't let that happen. So he decided to travel back to the past, when Napoleon was still a child. He threatened Napoleon, telling him that he had to murder Matt's Sicilian grandma, and if he didn't, Jefferson would erase video games from history. And Napoleon folded. But why? Why did Matt's Sicilian grandma have any significance in any of this? Matt's grandma wasn't just a side character. She was the linchpin of Gamerville. Her Sicilian bloodline carried a power stronger than any human could comprehend. Legends say she is the guardian of the timeline, keeping the balance between the people and the game world. She planned on passing on this power to Matt once he was strong enough to handle it. But if she died, the timeline would be exposed. And anyone with a device strong enough can alter reality, exactly what Thomas Jefferson wanted, so that he can end Napoleon's presidency. This is why, in the only episode she is mentioned in, specifically avoids mentioning anything about her. 1980s Gamer didn't want us to know. So why didn't we know any of this? Why was the truth buried under layers of jokes and retro gags? He painted Napoleon as harmless. He reduced Grandma to a background character. He scrubbed Jefferson's influence from the record. Why? Because 1980s Gamer is God. At least in this universe he is. He is the director to this whole show. Anything he says goes. Once you see the clues, you can't unsee them. The missing parts, the short and random, the inconsistent lore about Gamerville's elections. 1980s. Gamer gave us nostalgia, but he didn't give us the truth. If Jefferson's threats were real and Napoleon succeeded, then Gamerville itself is living in a false reality. A world where Grandma was erased. A world where Napoleon is framed as a fool. A world where Jefferson's descendant sits safe, uncontested, in future elections. It's not just a lie in the series. It's a lie in history itself. At the end of the day, Adventures in Gamerville isn't just about Matt or Napoleon. It's about how we, as viewers, accept the stories we're given. When creators hide the truth, when history is rewritten, and when powerful figures, even ones as old as Jefferson, bend time for their own gain, we all lose something. Matt's Sicilian grandma was more than a character. She was a guardian, a protector. And because of one lie, her story was stolen from us.